Good day, greetings of joy in Christ. I am Charles Abad and welcome to my oral presentation for Inquiries and Investigations 12, year 2021 for a study entitled The Effects of Academic Stress on the Academic Performance. Before we begin with the presentation, I would like to elaborate the structure of this report. First and foremost, we will be going to the title of the study, the rationale, the statement of the problem, the hypothesis of the study, the statistical tools, the presentation of data, the summary of findings, and ending up with conclusions. Going back with the title, the effects of academic stress on the academic performance. Moving on with the rationale, the study aimed to determine the effects of academic stress on the academic performance of grade 9 and 10 students of SPCB. With that statement, it is clearly stated that the purpose of the study is to determine the effects of academic stress on the academic performance. Moving on to the statement of the problem, this portion encompasses the gaps of knowledge that this study would like to address. The main problem for this study is, what is the effect of academic stress on the academic performance of grade 9 and 10 students of SPCB? With the main problem, the researchers sought to answer the following specific questions. Question number 1. What is the profile of the respondents in terms of academic stress and academic performance? Question number 2. Which academic stress is experienced the most and the least? Question number 3. How are grade 9 and grade 10 students compared in terms of academic stress? For question number 4, is there a significant difference on the academic performance of grade 9 and grade 10 students under eustress and under distress? For question number 5, is there a significant difference on the academic performance in terms of academic stress? After the problems have been stated, here are the predictions of the study. The hypothesis of the study. For this study, the study gives 3 hypotheses. The first hypothesis, for the null, there is no significant difference on the academic performance of grade 9 and grade 10 students under eustress. For the alternative, there is a significant difference on the academic performance of grade 9 and grade 10 students under eustress. The second hypothesis, the null states that there is no significant difference on the academic performance of grade 9 and grade 10 students under distress. For alternative, there is a significant difference on the academic performance of grade 9 and grade 10 students under distress. For the third hypothesis, the null states that there is no significant difference on the academic performance in terms of academic stress, while the alternative states that there is a significant difference on the academic performance in terms of academic stress. The hypothesis wouldn't be accepted or rejected without testing it, and therefore, the next portion of this presentation would be on statistical tools. Statistical tools are mathematical formulas which will be utilized to draw findings and conclusion from the data of the study, beginning with descriptive percentage. Frequency and percentage distribution tables are used to organize the data and to know the number of individuals in each category according to frequency and percentage. The second descriptive statistical tool is the weighted mean. Weighted mean was utilized to determine the exact center of the mathematical distribution through adding all the scores and dividing by the number of cases. For the inferential statistics, inferential parametric t-test was used to compare two means of two groups. This will determine if there is a significant difference between two variables. The basic rules of t-test. If the test statistics is greater than the critical value, then the null hypothesis is rejected. Otherwise, if the test statistics is less than the critical value, then the null hypothesis is accepted. Moving on to the presentation of data. Table 1 shows frequency and percentage distribution of respondents in terms of academic stress. Table 2 reveals the frequency and percentage distribution of the academic performance of grade 9 respondents in terms of academic stress. Table 3 shows the weighted mean of the academic performance of grade 9 respondents with distress. Table 4 reveals weighted mean of the academic performance of grade 9 respondents with distress. Table 5 shows the frequency and percentage distribution of the academic performance of grade 10 respondents in terms of academic stress. Table 6 reveals the weighted mean of the academic performance of grade 10 respondents with eustress. Table 7 shows the weighted mean of the academic performance of grade 10 respondents with distress. And Table 8 reveals the weighted mean of academic performance of grade 9 and grade 10 students in terms of academic stress. Proceeding to the main objective of this presentation is the summary of findings. The summary of findings administers the answers and generalizations to address the specific questions and the problems of the study. Beginning with specific question number 1, what is the profile of the respondents in terms of academic stress and academic performance? To determine the profile of the respondent in terms of academic stress, Table 1 was utilized. The findings from Table 1 states that in terms of academic stress, among the 80 grade 9 respondents, 59% have eustress and the remaining 41% have distress. On the other hand, among the 82 grade 10 respondents, 76% have eustress and the remaining 24% have distress. For the profile of academic performance, Table 2 was utilized for grade 9 respondents. The findings from Table 2 states that, in terms of academic performance, among the 47 grade 9 students under eustress, 36% have a very satisfactory academic performance, 34% have satisfactory academic performance, 17% have fairly satisfactory academic performance, 13% have an outstanding academic performance, and none of the respondents from grade 9 under eustress did not meet the expectations. On the other hand, among the 33 grade 9 respondents under distress, 45% have satisfactory academic performance, 36% have very satisfactory academic performance, 9% have an outstanding academic performance, 9% have a fairly satisfactory academic performance, and none of the grade 9 respondents under distress did not meet the expectations. For the profile of the grade 10 respondents in terms of academic performance, Table 5 was used. The findings from Table 5 states that, in terms of academic performance, among the 62 grade 10 respondents under eustress, 47% have very satisfactory academic performance, 34% have satisfactory academic performance, 14% have an outstanding academic performance, 5% have fairly satisfactory academic performance, and none of the grade 10 respondents under eustress did not meet the expectations. On the other hand, among the 20 grade 10 respondents under distress, 55% have very satisfactory academic performance, 40% have satisfactory academic performance, 5% have an outstanding academic performance, none of them have fairly satisfactory academic performance, and none of the grade 10 respondents under distress did not meet the expectations. For specific question number 1, we can say that majority of the respondents' academic stress is eustress, and majority of the students have a very satisfactory academic performance. Moving to specific question number 2, which academic stress is experienced the most and the least? Findings from Table 1 states that in terms of percentage, eustress is the most experienced academic stress of the respondents, while distress is the least experienced academic stress of the students. 47 grade 9 students, or 59%, and 62 grade 10 students, or 76%, experience eustress the most, while 33 grade 9 students, or 41%, and 20 grade 10 students, or 24%, experience distress as the least academic stress. In terms of weighted mean, Table number 8 was utilized, and still, eustress is the most experienced academic stress of the respondents, while distress is the least experienced academic stress of the students. The weighted mean of eustress of the respondents resulted to 85.3, while the weighted mean of distress of the respondents resulted to 84.975. From that findings, we can say that eustress is the most experienced academic stress, while distress is the least. Proceeding to specific question number 3, how are grade 9 and grade 10 students compared in terms of academic stress? For this specific question, we are going to compare the academic stress experienced by grade 9 and grade 10 students, and therefore, Table 1 still offers the frequency distribution of the respondents to compare their academic stress. The findings from Table number 1 states that out of 80 grade 9 respondents, 59% experience eustress and 41% experience distress as their academic stress. On the other hand, out of 82 grade 10 respondents, 76% experience eustress and 24% experience distress as their academic stress. With these findings, we can say that the grade 10 students experience more eustress with 76% compared to grade 9 with 59%, while grade 9 respondents experience more distress with 41% compared to grade 10 students with 24%. Proceeding to question number 4. Is there a significant difference on the academic performance of grade 9 and grade 10 students under eustress and under distress? For this specific question, table number 8 was utilized for the t-test. The t-test for eustress. The computed test statistics resulted to 0.1929 and the critical value resulted to 12.7062. The test statistics is less than the critical value. With these values, it is interpreted that there is no significant difference on the academic performance of grade 9 and grade 10 students under eustress. Hence, the null hypothesis is accepted. The t-test for distress, still, table number 8 was utilized. The computed test statistics resulted to negative 0.2766 and the critical value resulted to 12.7062. The test statistics is less than the critical value. With these values, it is interpreted that there is no significant difference on the academic performance of grade 9 and grade 10 students under distress. Hence, the null hypothesis is accepted. Moving on to specific question number 5. Is there a significant difference on the academic performance in terms of academic stress? For this specific question, t-test in table number 8 was still utilized. After the computation, the computed test statistics resulted to 1.2745 and the critical value resulted to 12.7062. The test statistics is less than the critical value. With these values, it is interpreted that there is no significant difference on the academic performance in terms of academic stress. Hence, the null hypothesis is accepted. Proceeding to the main problem, what is the effect of academic stress on the academic performance of grade 9 and grade 10 students of SPCB? For the main problem, table number 8 was still used as it displays all the weighted mean which are needed to perform a parametric t-test. The computed test statistics resulted to negative 4.3333 and the critical value resulted to 12.7062. The test statistic is still less than the critical value. With these values, it is interpreted that academic stress does not affect the academic performance of grades 9 and 10 students of SPCB. Hence, academic stress does not affect academic performance. We are now done answering the summary of the findings. Proceeding to the conclusions of the study. The conclusion states the final results and the final impressions gathered across the process which aims to complete and wrap the whole study. Beginning with conclusion number 1. Most of the respondents are consistent of grade 10 students. Conclusion number 2. Most of the respondents experience eustress as their prevalent academic stress. Conclusion number 3. Most of the respondents' academic performance is very satisfactory. Conclusion number 4. The grade 10 students experience more stress compared to grade 9 students. Conclusion number 5. The grade 9 respondents experience more distress compared to grade 10 students. Conclusion number 6. There is no significant difference on the academic performance of grade 9 and grade 10 students under eustress. Therefore, the null hypothesis is accepted. Conclusion number 7 states that there is no significant difference on the academic performance of grade 9 and grade 10 students under distress. Therefore, the null hypothesis is accepted. Conclusion 8 states that there is no significant difference on academic performance in terms of academic stress. Therefore, the null hypothesis is accepted. For conclusion number 9, academic stress does not affect the academic performance of grades 9 and 10 students at St. Paul College of Bukawi. With this, the findings and conclusions for a study entitled The Effects of Academic Stress on the Academic Performance is presented. With all of those being mentioned, I would like to restate the hypotheses of the study which are accepted. For hypothesis number 1, the null hypothesis is accepted, meaning there is no significant difference on the academic performance of grade 9 and grade 10 students under eustress. For hypothesis number 2, the null hypothesis is accepted. Therefore, this means that there is no significant difference on the academic performance of grade 9 and grade 10 students under eustress. For the third hypothesis, the null hypothesis is accepted, which means that there is no significant difference on the academic performance in terms of academic stress. That ends my oral presentation for Increase in Investigations 12. And we've come to the end of my oral presentation. Thank you for listening and God bless us all.